Selling your house is one of the largest financial decisions you take in your entire life. Imagine for a moment this house behind me here was your property and you're looking to sell it for the highest possible value. Hi, my name is Eduardo Duran, and today we're going to be going through the 5 major steps that you can take to make sure you get the top dollar for your property. First, we're going to have to do a pre-listing preparation. Second, winning the online battle. Third, winning the in-person battle. Fourth, winning the contract battle. And fifth, stick around for that one. That's going to be a mystery and probably the most important of the 5. Let's go. The problem and challenge with today's market is that we have high levels of inventory that we have not touched in about 5 years. I'm currently based in Austin, Texas, and here is one of the most prime examples of raised inventory. During the pandemic years, Austin had a huge boom, as did a lot of other metros around the country, and people were able to sell their houses for sale by owner in like 2 or 3 days and for $100K over asking price. But the market has shifted. Now we have higher level of inventory, which means there's just more houses available for sale, making your problem as a seller, how do you stand out amongst all that competition, right? And how do you actually get the highest possible dollar value for your home? There's a lot of factors that make selling your home difficult. And that's why these 5 steps are going to be more important than ever for you to take note of. Tip number 1 is going to be the pre-listing preparation. First and foremost, upgrades. There might be some upgrades you can do to your home from its current condition to a slightly better condition, or maybe you spend $10,000 or $20,000 to fix it up and you actually sell it for $15,000 or $25,000 more, meaning you get some positive return on investment. Of course, the main areas we want to focus on are going to be the kitchen, which is the heart of the home, as well as the primary bedroom, which we're going to show you in a sec. Here, you can probably paint these cabinets, give it a more modern feel, maybe switch out these appliances, which are super old. Come check out the bathroom. Those are typically the 2 main areas that people are going to be most emotionally stimulated by, the kitchen and the master bedroom, which is where we're at right now. Look at this bathroom. I mean, just a simple like $60 shower head, or even just a fancier mirror. If you have more time and more money, you can totally do a more extensive project and make sure you get the highest possible value for your home. Second thing, after you consider upgrades, is going to be getting a pre-inspection. When you get a pre-inspection, a home inspector is going to cost you like $500, but it's totally worth it. We'll come out to the property and they're going to take photos and videos of literally everything in the entire property and give you like a 60-page detailed report with everything from A to Z that is wrong with your home. From there, you can pick and choose which things you want to repair or remediate, and those things are things that a buyer, when they get their own inspection, they would be getting those, those red flags coming up, but since you actually did it proactively, fixed a bunch of those things, all those red flags are gone. The last part of a pre-listing preparation that's important is the pricing. Pricing is the most important factor when you're going to list your house. Oftentimes, there's a lot of different psychologies around this. Some people think putting a random number is smart, like $417,919. The best way to list your house is going to be in $25,000 increments. That's the way that people shop online. That's the way their budgets are formed. When they speak to a lender, they're going to get a certain dollar amount they're pre-approved for. Let's say that amount is $500,000. If you list your house for $501,000, anybody who goes on Zillow and puts $475K to $500K, because you listed at 501, guess what? They're not even going to see your house. And you thought that that was something slick to do. It's going to eliminate an entire buyer pool from potentially being able to come view your home and actually put an offer on it. So pricing is the last point. In number 1, we talked about the pre-listing. We did upgrades. We talked inspection and repairs. And lastly, pricing. All right, tip number 2 is all about winning the online battle. According to the National Association of Realtors, 97% of home buyers in 2023 used online apps like Zillow or Redfin or even just MLS listings to shop around for their house. What does this mean? If you don't have a strong online presence, there's no chance, and you stand really no chance at all at getting the top dollar for your house. So how do you get this top dollar with an online presence? Photos, people. Photos is what people get emotionally stimulated by, and there's a lot of things you can take into account concerning photos. Yes, the iPhone has a very solid camera, but no, it's not satisfactory for selling something as expensive as a house. Just getting the angles right, especially when you're talking about things like a bathroom, getting a wide-angled real estate camera involved is really key to giving people an accurate representation and appealing representation of what the house could actually look like. What ties into the photographs as well is staging. People are very on two sides about staging. Some people think it's worthless, other people think it's really, really valuable. According to the National Association of Realtors, a staged house sells from 1 to 5% higher than a non-staged house, and it sells 33 to 50% quicker. Here we are in a nice older home. It's not really renovated, and there's really no staging here. So this is supposed to be a dining area. Unless you have a crazy imagination, it's really hard to envision what the space could actually look like and get a full appreciation for its potential. If you follow me into the living space, same thing here. You know, some buyers have a really great geospace ability of knowing where to put their couch, where the TV could go. But oftentimes, if you just spend a little bit of money to get those things out of their imagination and into real life, where they walk the house and they see the furniture, it makes a huge difference. There's two kinds of staging that you could possibly do. There's virtual and there's actual physical furniture in the house. There's some pros and cons to both. The main thing being the price. You can virtually stage something for like $50 or even less. And getting real furniture might cost you $3,000 or $4,000. So the biggest distinction here is the price point of the home. In Austin, Texas, if it's under like 400 grand, people usually just opt for virtual staging. If it's higher than that, they'll take real staging into account. We're going to show you an example of one that's actually staged, and you'll see the difference for yourself. All right, guys, this is an example of what staging could look like at your home when you're trying to sell it. Look how good this looks. It gives you an example of what you could do with the space. Here we have a little seating area. You can tell we have some cookbooks in the kitchen. We have some art on the walls. Over here in the living space, we actually have a representation of couches and where the TV could go. Check this out. It's kind of funny. They put fake TVs on it. They always do that. Also, the master bedroom. Those are the areas I recommend staging. Always the living spaces and some kitchen art and appliances as well. Over here in the master bedroom, this is a king-size bed. It's also important to give people an example of, does a king-size bed even fit in here? As you can tell, it makes a huge visual difference, and that's why staging is so important. Step number 3 is going to be winning the in-person battle. So you want step number 2, which is getting people online to figure out that your house exists, getting them to like it, getting them to want to come and actually see it. Once they step in the door, that's the next hurdle you actually have to win. When they're in person, the best way to get someone to walk into your house if you're selling it is with an open house. As a real estate agent, I hold open houses literally every weekend, and it's very key to getting these things sold. Who has the most to lose when selling a house? It's not foreclosures, it's not expired listings, it's home builders. They have a ton of inventory they need to offload, and what do? They do open houses literally 5 or 6 days a week for 8 hours a piece. When someone walks in, you're going to want to have marketing materials like this: printed flyers, information, photos, QR codes, contact info, description, nearby amenities and attractions, and all that jazz. Another thing that's very important is going to be the signage out front. You're going to want to make sure that you have adequate signs, so that way when someone's driving down the neighborhood, they're actually able to find the house, right? So here we've got a big old sign. This is my listing, by the way. We also have a little printed flyer box here. They actually they took all of them. So see, it actually works. I got to refill that. As well as if you're doing renovations still in step number 1, you can put something like this. Instead of just listed, you could put a coming soon sign. It's all about giving people a visual invitation to enter the home. Step number 4 is all about winning the contract phase. So you did a great job listing the property, pricing it right, getting the photos looking nice, having a good in-person appearance. Now you have an offer in hand. Maybe you have multiple. Good for you. How do you pick the right one? If you pick the wrong one, you could end up leaving thousands of dollars on the table. And if you're too aggressive with the negotiation, you can scare a buyer off. There's a lot of things that you have to be aware of when you're actually in the contract phase and you're so close to selling the house. First and foremost, having a seller net sheet is going to be critical to your success in getting the maximum value for your home. This is an Excel sheet that's going to give you a breakdown of all the things, all the money coming in, like the purchase price that someone's going to be paying you, and all the money going out, whether it's closing costs or concession or repairs, etc. Giving you a seller net, which is what you're actually going to end up taking home at the end of the day. Another important piece is making sure that the offer is a safe one. If you have an offer where you're not really sure if the buyer is going to be able to close, your entire deal can implode. And guess what? If you go under contract and you have to fall out of it because the buyer backs out to go back to the market, it's a huge red flag for other home buyers. They're going to think, oh my God, what was wrong with the house? Did that buyer go in and do an inspection and find something super wrong with the house and then they backed out? It's one of the worst things that can happen to you as a home seller is having your listing go back to the market. So how do we avoid these potential risks? Working with a real estate agent can definitely help out. In order to avoid the potential of a buyer basically dropping out of the contract, you need to be aware of what's known as an option period. An option period is usually 5 to 7 days where the home buyer that's offering on your house has the unrestricted right, you heard that right, unrestricted, to simply just back out. They only have to pay a small option period fee, which is usually like $100, to have the right to back out for those 5 to 7 days. All of these figures are negotiable, by the way. It could be longer or shorter or more expensive or cheaper. In this period, what they usually do, the buyers, is they'll have a home inspector come out to the property and actually look at all the different mechanical systems, everything from the smallest detail. They're going to get an inspection report and they're going to be able to ask for you to repair a couple things and ask for money if you don't want to repair those things. So again, the price you go under contract at is very rarely the final sales price of the house. It's like a second round of negotiations that you have to be prepared for. And that's exactly why we did step number 1, the pre-listing preparation, where we did our own pre-inspection. We addressed all the small little ticky-tacky repairs like caulking and paint and whatever. That way, whenever a new buyer comes in, that list is a whole lot shorter and the potential of them finding a bunch of little things to nitpick your pockets for is minimized. All right, guys, if you stuck around to the end, now it's time for step number 5, the bonus, the mystery, which is work with a realtor in your local market. Partnering up with a realtor to help you sell your house is the smartest decision you can make because we are professionals. I do this every single day. I work 7 days a week. I've been doing this for multiple years. I've sold dozens of properties, at least hundreds. Working with a realtor is going to make sure that you have all steps 1 through 4 professionally taken care of, and even beyond what we mentioned. Things like a network, those are things that a home buyer really can't match. Having admins and support teams. I can tell my admin team to write a contract and they do it blazing quick and it's always correct. Other things like, in terms of getting people to show up to the open house, for this home specifically, I door knocked 75 houses in the area and I gave them each a flyer inviting them personally to the open house. Working with a realtor, yes, it costs money and people often think, oh my God, I don't want to pay an agent a commission. I'll tell you, most people who end up trying to sell their house by themselves, 80% of them, in fact, end up listing with an agent, and there's a reason for that. If you're looking to sell your house and you're even maybe just considering it, book a consult with me. It's only 15 minutes. The link is in the description below. We can talk about your home specifically, and I can give you some steps to make sure that you get the maximum value for your property. If you're in the Austin area, definitely reach out. If you're elsewhere, we can still have a consultation. I'd be happy to refer you to one of my business partners all around the state of Texas. If you found some value in this video, smash that like button so other people can find the content a little bit easier. Also hit the subscribe button if you found some value and you want to keep seeing content just like this. See you next time.